Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Strip Club. I'm not Liberace, but do you like the jacket?
Yes.
We're doing a theme here in the shop. It's the 10th anniversary of 20 years of doing a shop hop with the Southern California stores. Every store gets a year to celebrate, and we got year 10. And you know what year 10 is, right? Diamond. So we are blinged up and enjoying the sparkly today. So I'm all dressed up for after this. And I thought, well, we get lights here. I have a stage. I have some blingy jewelry, and even my star is blinged. I'm going to use the excuse to wear the shiny jacket. So today I'm going to tell you about a new strip club pattern. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's called Sharons Stars because Sharyn designed it. Right? Sharyn designed a ruler way back a little while ago called the cutting corner ruler. The cutting corner ruler we had out for a good number of years, and then we sold out of them, and we didn't reprint until now. So happy, the cutting corner ruler is back. And I'm going to show you how you use it today. Today we're using it with 2.5-inch strips. Surprise! What we have in this quilt are the strips that make the stars. Ooh, did you catch the shimmer? Look at that. Strips make the stars. In addition to the strips, we also have background fabric. We have 2 fabrics that are pinwheels. The floating pinwheels, it's what's going to make how we're and now translated in English, I'm going to show you how to make these fantastic floating pinwheels using the cutting corner ruler. Additionally, we have border. The border 1 here is gray. And notice we take the pinwheel all the way out to the borders to complete the design. So it's a pieced border 1. And then we have border 2. In this quilt, the border 2 is the same as the background fabric. And a fantastic border 3. Now, I don't know if you can tell from where you're sitting, but these are Halloween fabrics. Oh, you laugh because you knew.
Orange or black?
Oh, well, I've walked past it a couple times, and I thought, well, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be Halloween, and it doesn't have to be Halloween. But, you know, we're getting close to that season. But Halloween fabric is out, so we thought it'd be wonderful to do this in Halloween prints. Okay, so first, let's cut some of our fabric, shall we? The pattern is called Sharons Stars, and if you're here, you have the pattern because you get it from your local quilt shop, and we are your local quilt shop. If you don't have the pattern, go buy it from your local quilt shop. Go buy it. No, really, go buy it. Okay, so I was doing this yesterday, creating the teaching sample, and I did it all wrong a number of times. And I realized I should never try to sew at the quilt shop. But I went home and I did this for myself, which made my life a whole lot easier. I created a cheat sheet. And I thought maybe, because I thought I'd get clever, and instead of doing a plain background, I'm going to do a dark background in my sample. And that's kind of what messed me up. So I created this cheat sheet, and I thought it'd be helpful for you guys as I'm making this teaching sample for you to see what I'm using. So while in this quilt, the background is a cream, in the sample I'm making, the background will be a burgundy. And then the pinwheel light and pinwheel dark. And then we have strips. So these are the fabrics I'll be using in what I'm going to show you. The first thing we do is take our strips. It takes 1 strip to make a star. You will make you cut from your strips 2 long pieces and 4 short pieces. Okay? So cut those, put it aside. Keep them together because they will go into the same block, so life is much easier if they're already together. So once you have those, keep them together. Do we love Wonder Clips? Yes. Oh my gosh, Wonder Clips are not just for sewing, they're for organization. So, clip that. Now remember I said our background is this burgundy. So we're going to need to have squares of our background. And we're also going to need to have segments of our background. On some of the segment strips, you have to draw diagonal lines one direction. And on the other half of the segment strips, you have to have you have to What's wrong with that picture? Hey, I'll go the same way, but wait. Oh yeah, see? So some go one way and some go the other way. I've drawn it in permanent marker so that you can see it. Please don't use permanent marker on yours. Use Choco liner, use water soluble or an air soluble. If you are using a soluble, don't press. Don't use heat with those soluble because they will set it and you will see it. You'll see it through. So some one direction and some the other direction. They are. They're diagonal lines, 45-degree angles. I'm glad you asked because you know my favorite way to draw these diagonal lines? Is that a mind blower? This is our strip tube ruler. And it has a 45-degree line and it has vertical lines and perpendicular lines. Line that up against the edge of your fabric and then you have a 45-degree line you can draw. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm using the other regular rulers, that 45 mark is very handy, but I don't never have my ruler in the exact right place. But every time I pick up a strip tube ruler, I can very easily place a bottom line on the bottom edge and go until I hit the point, and now I have a clean 45-degree. This ruler is actually very handy for lots of 45-degree things, including sewing binding together. I do the same thing when I sew the binding together. Okay, so if you're drawing lines, I love the strip tube ruler. This is junior. We've got a bigger size too. If you don't want to draw the lines, I'm going to blow your mind with something in a minute. You think you know what's coming. Well, maybe you do, but I'm still going to try to blow your mind in a bit. Okay, so we've drawn our lines, our background segments, and our squares. Those are done. We're going to set those aside. The next thing we do, this is our light pinwheel fabric. Well, we're going to cut those squares and then cut them twice diagonally to get 4 triangles from each square. We have our light pinwheel, and we have our dark pinwheel. And I'm going to look over here to make sure I'm doing it right, because yesterday was a disaster. But I am. It's all good. So you'll cut your triangles diagonally from your square. So your triangles will come out of your square like this. You'll sew one triangle to another triangle to get a larger pieced triangle. That looks a lot like that. You can see we've already created a quarter of a pinwheel. So now that we have that, we have a bunch of those, we're going to set those aside. I always want to say, and then you let it rise for 30 minutes, but that's not the way we do it. Do you watch cooking shows? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to leave that pinwheel up there. Now, we're going to use our cutting corner ruler. This is the background square. Remember, the background in my teaching sample is dark. And I need to remove a triangle and replace it with that triangle to create my pinwheel. The way I do that is with Sharyn Craig's cutting corner ruler. The cutting corner ruler looks like an odd shape, but all it really does is cut the corners off. The ruler itself is designed so that we have whole and half numbers on one side, quarters and 3/4 numbers on the other side. They are concentric triangles that actually cut corners. You can see I have taken arrows. These are GE Design arrows. Very fun, very handy. This is a great way to mark your rulers. I don't know about you. I often go to the wrong line. Yeah. Oh, another tip with this ruler, whole numbers are solid, half are dashed. So if you're looking for a solid number, in this case it's the 3, and I've marked it with my happy arrows. I'm going to take the 3, place it on the corner of the square, and I'm going to cut that away to cut away the corner, cutting corner ruler. The measurement, the 3 inches, is your finished triangle size. So we've already done that pesky 7/8, 3 1/4, whatever. We've done that math for you. So this is going to finish at 3 inches. 3-inch cut. Your piece looks a lot like that. You will add this piece to it. Place it right sides together, sew and open, and that's going to be a corner of your square, of your finished block. It will look like this. Good so far? Yeah. All right. Let's make it a corner. I'm going to have one there. Going to have one there. Going to have one here. Well, I'm going to move it up for now because I need the space. Oh, look, I'm creating a new block. Ooh. Pretend you didn't see that. Now I'm going to move on to making the stars. So the points of the stars on the floor. Are they on the floor? Oh, okay. I have so much stuff on the floor of my sewing room at the moment. I really need to vacuum. I've been saying that for about 2 weeks now. So now we're going to make the star points, and we're going to do the stitch and flip technique for the star points until I show you another way. So here I have one of those segments. Pay attention to your diagonal lines. I have one of the background segments on the long strip segment as pictured. Use the picture. Use the picture. Diagonal line goes this way, and I'm going to stitch just a thread inside that diagonal line. And then when I feel good about it, I'm going to flip it over and make sure it's flush and that I have created a continuous 2.5-inch piece now with diagonal seam in the middle. Once you feel good about it, you know it's good, you can unsew it if it's not good. Flip it back down, and with your rotary cutter you can cut away this excess fabric. You don't need to keep that in. Some people do, but I prefer not to. And then press. You're going to press it in place. You're going to do the same thing on the other side, but with one diagonal line going the other direction. That was the one on the floor, right? Okay. Diagonal line goes the other way, stitch, and then open up the other direction. If you don't want to draw the lines, I know you think I'm going to say the folded corner clipper, but she's not making it anymore. And then we realized the cutting corner ruler does the same thing. No, okay, seriously, that was a mind-blowing moment. Here's our cutting corner ruler. Because this is a 2.5-inch strip, it's going to finish 2 inches. You use the 2-inch measurement for your ruler, because remember, the ruler is your finished measurements. So you find the 2-inch, the one not marked, place that on the corner like you did the previous one, cut that away, and now you've cut away the excess. All you have left is a diagonal seam with the proper seam allowance to sew 1/4 inch, corner down to corner down. Boom, you got it. Folded corner clipper. No more cutting corner ruler, our new best friend. Just another reason to buy it. Like, you know, today. Go. All right, we've created a star piece and another one, and you'd say, but Daniela, that doesn't make a star. Wait for it. It's the start of a star. I got 4 points. We're going to do the same stitch and flip technique, now with the smaller pieces, and create the bottom part. Two more. That's upside down. How about that? Better? Can you see it come together?
Yes.
And it's a little lower down so I can reach it now. That is your block. Nice, huh?
Yes.
So when 4 blocks come together, wait, let me get my blinged out wand, which was made for me, by the way, a gift from one of the audience members. When a block comes together with another block, the corners meet and they create this floating pinwheel effect. I said before, border 1 is pieced. So you have a segment that is 12.5 inches from there to there. Cut off the corners and replace just 2 of them with the same pinwheel. Now when the block hits the border, the pinwheel is complete. Very good?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like you to take a moment and appreciate the quilting that went into this. Can you see it? Yeah? You know, my mom does quilting designs. She does digitized quilting designs, and she sells them online. So I went on her website, and I'm like, ooh, ghost, boo, that's the one I want to use. So can you see there's a little, can you see the ghost?
Yes.
And then the word boo right there. It was just a nice touch for the Halloween quilt. Pretty cute, huh? Okay, this is Sharons Stars, designed by Sharyn Craig, with the ruler designed by Sharyn Craig. As I named the quilt Sharons Stars, I think I have to give the quilt to her, don't I? But she has one. She made one for me originally. If you've been around for a few strip clubs ago, I showed it. But I'm going to share it again today if you want to see it. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
This was the original, same technique. She did something a little different in her original one. Her squares may be smaller, but she did not take the pinwheels out to the borders. So her pinwheels are just on the inside. Do you see?
Yeah.
So if you want to do this technique, you have to count out your blocks and make sure anything that hits the border doesn't get a pinwheel. You can't follow my directions exactly, but you're welcome to do this version. You don't have to do exactly as I say, unless you work here. This was Spa Day, and I showed this to you when we did our simplicity video. So this is just a different version of Spa Day. Sharons Stars. Any questions on Sharons Stars? No questions? You want it up again? Paparazzi's out. Okay. Yeah, I'm always happy to show off quilts.
So the pinwheels are an accessory fabric, not from the strip.
Correct. Pinwheel fabrics are separate. So you have the strips, background, pinwheel, and borders. You need those in addition to the strips. So if you've done the math, there's 9 blocks in this quilt. It takes 9 strips to make this quilt. 1 strip per block. That's easy math. I had an easy time doing that this month. 1 strip per block. Can I show you another quilt?
Yes, please.
We talk about the cutting corner ruler. Here's another way to use the same cutting corner technique. We did this for the hull and the sail. This is a pattern called Regatta. And it too features Sharyn Craig's cutting corner ruler. Isn't it sweet?
Yeah.
Do you like the fabrics?
Yes.
Yeah, this is, thank you, Senta. This is my next line. It's called Boathouse. And if you have a line of fabric called Boathouse, do you not need to have a quilt
Yes.
that has boats? So you see the sails
Yes.
and the hull, the boat itself, both done with Sharyn Craig's cutting corner ruler. May I show you something unrelated to Sharyn Craig completely? as long as it's another quilt, right? I told you we're doing the run, hence the bling, the Liberace jacket that I'm wearing. It's a diamond theme, and when you have a diamond theme run, don't you need a diamond quilt?
Yes.
This is one of our first ever paper piecing patterns. And the quilting is also from my mom. My mom is Quilter's Niche Designs. And this one, her design here is called It's a Gem. And I sent the design, the quilt design to her and said, what can you do? Can you come up with a quilting pattern? It's so effective. I just love it. The paper piecing pattern is called Brilliant. And as you can tell the way it's laid out, there's 10 diamonds because we are celebrating year 10 of the anniversary. So 10 diamonds. This is our challenge quilt, but it also happens to be a pattern. So our paper piecing pattern, Brilliant. And why is it called Brilliant, class? Because of you guys. Because I make you say what? 1, 2, 3? Brilliant. Thank you. So the quilt is actually named after you. So our latest paper piecing pattern. Okay. Any questions? Are we good? Are we excited? Another quilt to make. Well, thanks for coming. Join us next month. We'll have another pattern that uses 2.5-inch strips.